Hey Nishant, thank you for coming on today's episode of Mera Pehla Crore. And it's quite funny how I got you here because I just started reading your post on LinkedIn some time back, and then I just thought that I'll reach out to you, and you were helpful enough to respond back to me and come on today's episode. So really thank you for that. And I know that you're a serial entrepreneur. I really like your tagline on LinkedIn: entrepreneur and musician. It's quite clear of what you want to be associated with. And if you could just introduce yourself for the audience once, and then we can start the episode from there.
Sure. I'm an entrepreneur and musician, as you said, and I have been an entrepreneur since the first year of college. That was back in 2012. I started my first company then. Mera Pehla Crore was when we were just graduating. That's when my company, crossed crores in revenue without
Yeah.
being funded from any source, even our parents, and we were very happy to grow. And since then, I've built a lot of products. I am also making music a lot. I have over 17 songs on the internet, some 7 lakh streams,
Nice.
almost a million. And I'm just trying to be a good entrepreneur, good musician every day. And then I write a lot.
Yeah.
I used to write like very artistic fiction kind of stuff, and very, even if it's non-fiction, I used to write heavy psychology, philosophy, and economics kind of stuff. But then I started casually writing about startups on LinkedIn, and that sort of caught on. That became viral, and that's how you know me. That's like my writings got 12 million plus views
Yeah.
on LinkedIn last year, just last year. It's amazing. I never wanted to be famous for that, but you don't control
Yeah.
anything in the
So
life.
I honestly think that it's not your writing that has made you famous. It's your insights, like what you're writing about and the way that you're able to communicate your message properly with the audience. And it's such a simple language that anyone can understand, like who's not part of the ecosystem as well, can read your post and understand what you're wanting to talk about. So I think that's more of that. And kudos to you, Yatham. I think you're doing a great job there. And it's really interesting to read your post. And we
Thank you.
touched
Thank
upon one thing. That you started your company when you were in the first year of college and you went to IP University, if I'm not wrong.
you. Yes,
So
yes.
uh, we don't like, I recently interviewed another like entrepreneur like yourself who was from the Hindu college, DU. And now I'm interviewing today you who are from IP University. So I'm really liking this mix that I'm coming out of that who are not folks who are not backed by IIT or IIMs of the world, but also still making it big in the world. So I would like to understand like how what is your take on IP University? Because you've been there, you've started working there. So how would you say, like, is it worth it?
I mean, university, IP University, I come from Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Technology, mate. So it's a decent place. I mean, the best thing that my college personally did was it didn't come in the way. So
Okay.
it had very relaxed attendance rules, which sort of helped us do what we wanted to do. You
Yeah.
know, if my college would have been a strict place as far as the attendance rules were concerned, I would have probably died. I would have
Yeah.
probably committed suicide. And because nobody wants to do that, and that's a waste of time. And thankfully, our college was very free. They allowed us to do what we wanted to do. They didn't come in the way too much. Whenever they came in the way, it was a problem, but they didn't do that a lot. I
Yeah.
didn't get any support from my college at all
Yeah.
for my entrepreneurial journey, so to speak. In fact, that experience was a very bad experience. I actually started my company as a university journal. So we began with the concept that IITs and IIMs are branded too much. And you read an Economic Times article and the person is from IIT, you see that he's from IIT. But if that person is not from IIT, you never see which college he's from. So
Hmm.
basically, Economic Times and all the mainstream publications of this country brand IITs by not branding everybody else, right? So, and 99% of
Yeah.
people are not going to go to IITs. So essentially, we started as a media publication where we wanted to create a visibility platform for non-branded
Right.
institutes of the country. So that was our concept. That okay, there's a lot of talent everywhere, but that talent is simply not being able to come out because it's not from IIT, and
Mhm.
these people are favoring these people because they want to brand them.
Yeah.
And initially, the college was supposed to back us. So they promised money, but then they backed out of that promise. So my experience with uh, the college support as such has not been great, but I'm very, very thankful that these people didn't come in the way.
Yeah.
As soon as we started our entrepreneurial journey, they were very relaxed. They let us do. We were basically building the company in college, and as soon as we were graduating, we already had like 1.2 crore in revenues. So
Yeah.
we ended up hiring 6 people from our batch when we were graduating. You know,
Yeah.
so that was great. If the college didn't stop us, they didn't say you don't have 75% attendance, we're gonna fail you.
Yeah.
That would have been very, very sad. So we
Yeah.
ended up doing a lot of work while in college, which was great. Nobody really does that. So
Yeah.
it was awesome.
So you created the testimony. That's what you named it, right? So, and you also shared your vision behind it. So that's great. But how are you generating revenue? Like you said, it was a media first company, right?
Yeah, so it didn't make money, right? So the first 3 newspapers we published, it was a weekly journal. We published 3 copies in the course of 2 months, and then they backed out. So no funds there. Then we pivoted a lot. We ventured into online media. We had like 1.2, no, 12 lakh people,
Okay.
1.2 million engineers. We made a network of those engineers on Facebook. Back in that day,
Okay.
Facebook was huge,
Yeah.
right? So we got all the engineers, became a media company. We did a lot of affiliate marketing stuff with the training companies like CAD Center and all
Yeah.
these, IIM, IIT, so on. Training centers, we got a lot of people. We started doing training ourselves. We started running training programs for employability and stuff. But then we realized that people don't really want to pay for any of this. They're not
Mm-hmm.
interested in paying for training. They're not interested in getting trained. They're just
Mm-hmm.
lazy people who want money and
They
if
want
not,
the job.
yeah, they want a job straight away. If
Yeah.
not lazy, they just want to get paid.
Yeah.
They are willing to work hard for it. So that's when we started our manpower outsourcing play, where
Okay.
we actually got these people, these students, to work on live projects for
Okay.
marketing, sales, market research for companies across the board. So that clicked, and that made us a lot of money because, we used to charge companies, we used to pay these people very handsomely, like college students getting 16,000, 18,000 bucks a month
At that point of time.
at that time. Yeah, yeah, 2015,
Yeah.
15, 16. So they were very happy. We were very happy. Companies were very happy
Yeah.
because they used to get good people working for
Yeah.
them for their sales, marketing, research projects, and the results of those projects were great. You know, everybody
Yeah.
used to like them. So that made us a lot of money, and that was a very, very profitable business. And a lot of people then copied our business after we grew. Avign was a company, then Avenue Growth started on the same lines. A lot of people started doing the same thing which we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm. I like is like I don't know if I'm right or not, but if you follow Varun Maya, uh,
I don't.
okay, so he started a company called Avalon, some labs, something, and he I think was doing something similar. He was training and then making a pool of people. I don't know if it's correct, but
No, but Avalon, as far as I'm concerned, they reached out to me, and they were a clone of that Clubhouse. They were an
yeah,
audio based. They were an
yeah,
Indian clone of Clubhouse. That's when they
yeah,
reached out to me. They wanted me to do some session there, as a musician. They wanted me to play for it, and then they asked me to do a talk. So that was Avalon, and I
yeah.
don't know anything else apart from
Yeah,
that.
me neither. I was just like hoping that you would know, so I was checking with
Yeah,
you.
so that they
But
were that company. They were
yeah,
basically now they're into cloud or something. I've heard the name because they called me and they
yeah,
wanted me to perform on their app. So they were
yeah,
basically Clubhouse clone. They raised money for
yeah,
that. Obviously,
yeah.
it didn't go anywhere, but now
Clubhouse didn't work out, so how would the clone work out?
absolutely.
Yeah,
But
and
when Clubhouse was on, a lot of clones got funded. These were one
yeah,
of them. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because,
yeah. It was
herds.
a wave. It was a very huge wave. I still remember. I would never use properly like Clubhouse app, but I saw all of my friends going on it, and it was only for 2 3 months the wave was there
Yeah,
when the
yeah.
lockdown was there. So, but
So
it
it was a
became a
VC
billion dollar
driven hype,
company.
actually. It was a
Yeah,
VC driven company, and they got an acquisition offer from Twitter for $4 billion.
yeah,
They didn't budge, and then Twitter got that Spaces feature in
yeah,
there, and they died. So,
yeah,
and a lot of people wanted to. At that time, a lot of VCs we talked to, they were like, "Oh, why don't you build in audio?" And I said, "It's not gonna work out." But
yeah,
they,
yeah.
no, it's gonna
But
work out.
Pocket FM is yeah, Pocket FM is doing quite well, I
Pocket
think. And
FM is not Spaces. Pocket FM is a
uh,
very different business model. Pocket FM,
I'm talking from the audio standpoint. Like,
no, no, no. So
uh,
it's not audio. Pocket
okay,
FM is audio films. It's
yeah, okay,
basically books
yeah,
in audio. It's audio shows. It's
yeah,
it's basically audio publishing.
Yeah, exactly. So
Pocket
it's not,
So
it's not
Clubhouse is
user
audio
generated.
publishing. Clubhouse is just random conversations, live
Yeah,
conversations, audio
yeah,
spaces. You know,
yeah,
so Pocket FM, I'm very bullish on. I've
yeah,
written an article about Pocket FM, Cuckoo FM, and all these guys.
yeah,
I think they're very lucky to be in that space. It's gonna boom because people can't read books anymore.
yeah,
People can't read papers anymore. People can't read anymore. You know,
yeah,
people are going to be absolutely away from reading. They're already away from reading. They're going to be more away from reading as time
yeah,
goes on. And these audio books and audio podcasts and audio learning, audio shows, that's
yeah,
going to, and why Pocket FM is such a great business model is because that it doesn't create content creatively.
yeah,
So let's say if you're running Netflix, you've got to sanction shows, you've got to actually indulge in some creative development
yeah,
of those shows. You want to make sure that you make a good show, you're going to make a good movie, you know. Pocket FM doesn't have to do anything. Pocket FM just basically converts existing books into audio. They
yeah,
need one guy in a studio speaking the book, and that's it. That's the
yeah,
book. And that content sells infinitely. So
yeah,
there's no creative constraint there. There's no creative angle. Oh, what if the book flops? If the book is flop, you not convert it. You know, you don't convert
yeah,
it to. So Pocket
yeah,
FM is a great business.
yeah. And I think they won't even need a person anymore. Like I think they can do that job in the near future, or still
I
is.
hope they don't, though. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
But even with the person, it's a good business.
Yeah. Also, like, did you like? I don't know if I remember it correctly, but Ghana.com recently was sold to radio,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
98.5 radio, I
Yes,
think,
yes. It
and
was
it
a
was a very cheap deal.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
it was a fire sale. It was basically nothing. It was just
yeah, it was
bit.
25 million, I think.
No,
For
no, 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 no. 25 million. That's too much. They got sold for much less.
I think, but
75 lakhs or something. That was the
25
amount.
lakhs, I think. I think 25
Ah,
lakhs. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that was
something like that. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But why couldn't they have like adopted to Kuku FM or uh,
Yeah,
Pocket
that
FM?
you don't know. You don't know what goes on in companies, man. You know, they were into streaming. So yeah, you're right, absolutely
They
right. They
had the
could have.
audience.
I don't know if they had the audience, but point is they could have gotten the audience with
Yeah,
the play because but you know what, this is very complicated. A lot of these things are just luck, you know.
yeah,
When Ghana began, streaming was new, so they raised a lot of money on streaming. Then they got into Times network. They were a Times company, I think.
yeah,
And then when you're beginning with something, you've already made a lot of investments in streaming of music. You have all the partnerships in music. You have all your investments are
yeah,
in the space, and then suddenly, after spending all that time, pivoting to something else with other people already having a lot of money in hand because Coco FM and Pocket FM, they've both raised a lot of money. So
yeah,
competing with them, it's it's difficult. So they might have not been able to do it. People from outside say, "Oh, it's innovators' dilemma, and they could have pivoted. Why didn't they pivot?" It's just these are stories, it doesn't happen like that.
yeah,
Like you are an audio streaming company, you're streaming music, you have X number of people on your app, X number of music producers, label partnership, musicians, everything is on the app, and then you say, look, okay, we're just gonna cut it off and now go to making books, audio books. It's not
yeah,
as simple, but still they should have or could have probably tried doing that. I'm not sure of what their circumstances were. Why didn't they go forward? But
yeah.
yeah, if I would have been in their position, I definitely would have done that. Yeah.
It's exactly the same. That's what I was wondering. They could have at least marketed it a little to see the positive feedback from the market. I think, like even if they tried it, they did not try it hard enough for everyone to know because they were very bullish on their
They
marketing.
didn't try it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just saying, giving them the benefit of doubt, even if they tried it. So
Yeah.
no, not many people know about it because they were very bullish on their marketing. They were running paid ads on TV. Like we could
At one
reach
point. At
at
one
one
point.
point, exactly. So they
Yeah.
had that vision. They were bullish on marketing. They did not market that channel ever.
Huh.
But coming back to the testament, so we were talking about how you started monetizing the testament early on. So why did you shut it down? Because you also share your story of you had to shut it down and you ventured
So
into
actually,
another.
we that was a service business. We were making crores in revenue, and it was a profitable business, but it was a very ops intensive service business.
Okay.
And we were very ambitious people. We wanted to
Yeah.
make products. We weren't we knew that if we kept going on with Testament, we'll have like a 50, 100 crore company in like 20 years or 15
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
right? Uh, but that didn't seem good enough,
Okay.
because we wanted to build products. We wanted to build some cutting edge technology which could go to 100 crores in like 3 years, you know. Uh,
Right.
yeah, so that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So we ended up making a lot of products from our money. So the Testament used to be a business model and it used to fund all these technological experiments and these products and these adventures. None of those adventures worked out.
Okay.
So that's why
Can
we
you
had,
share a few?
yeah, absolutely. So back in 2017, we had a product called Market Recruit, which was
Okay.
a crowd-based recruitment platform. Crowd-based
Okay.
recruitment platform. It was essentially internal referral system, but for everybody. So
Okay.
I can get money by referring somebody in Deloitte if that person gets connected. So everybody can be a recruitment consultant. That was Market Recruit. It was a phenomenal thing,
Yeah.
and it's
It
also
sounds
working.
intuitively true.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it was working also, but we didn't have enough cash. And then the payments came 3 months later, because in the recruitment business,
Yeah.
you somebody hired and then you get paid 3 months later. But we had to
Yeah.
pay the crowd instantly, right? When he
Yeah.
made the recruitment.
Yeah.
So that sort of was negative cash flow and it burnt us up. Then after Market Recruit, we built something called CREAD. We used to pronounce it as CRED, a CREAD, which was a crowd-based advertising system.
Okay.
So essentially, it was in 2017, uh, influencer marketing. Now, influencer marketing
Okay.
didn't exist back in 2017. It wasn't a word,
Yeah.
right? We called it crowd-based advertising. So you could pay people to promote your product, just like people are doing with influencer marketing right now. We did
Yeah.
it back in 2017. So
Okay.
obviously we're a bit early to the market and that. So in market, you can't be early. You can't be late, but you can't be early.
Timing
You
is a key.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you can be late and be successful because you can just copy somebody's best
Yeah.
practice, raise more money and then beat them. But you
Yeah.
can't be early because then nobody understands what you're doing, especially the fucking idiots with money, right? They don't understand what's going on. Oh,
Right.
what is this? Why would somebody pay and stuff like that? And now they're investing in influencer marketing companies,
Right.
everything, right?
Right.
But at that time, they didn't see what we saw.
Right.
So we lost out on that. Then we created, uh, with the same name, Cred, we changed the app and we built it into a social network focused on artists.
Okay.
We wanted artists to have a better monetization plan.
Artists, like any
Graphic
particular
artists and
yeah.
writers, like
Okay.
painters and all of those people, we wanted them to be able to sell their online work.
Okay.
Which also got, took some shape as far as the sold store thing is concerned, where people are
Yeah.
creating artworks and people are buying them. So that's what we wanted to do back in 2018.
Yeah.
Again, we were very early to the market, you
Yeah.
know, too good for us. So it didn't
Being
go.
visionary is a problem
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes.
it is a big problem. So we
Yeah.
basically couldn't succeed with Cred. Then, we then the Testament had to just move away. I moved on from Testament because I wasn't interested in sticking on with the service business anymore. I wanted to build a product. Then we built SpotHealth, uh,
Okay.
which was a social network focused on health.
Okay.
That was in 2019.
Mhm.
That was going well. We had our cloud kitchens as well to monetize the social network so that people could order our food from the social network itself. That went well, really well. Then COVID happened
Mhm.
in 2020.
Right.
So we got fucked by a train, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we had to close that. So that's been the journey with the product
So
scene.
you didn't get any investors interested in Spot Health because you
I
ran that
tried,
for the
I
longest.
tried. I couldn't really raise money for that. I
Okay.
couldn't raise money for either of those things, Market
Yeah.
Recruit, Cred 2.0, and then Spot Health, because if those things had gotten money, they would have been way more
Yeah.
successful. Yeah.
Right.
Because a social network focused on health. So we created something like sports dating
Yeah.
and like Bumble for sports,
Yeah.
sports meetups and sports
Yeah.
dates, sports groups. It had a lot of potential. A lot of somebody's doing that right now. I guess it's Fitso or something like that.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of companies, Fitello, Fitso,
I
Healthify
guess.
also in some level.
So yeah, we did that way
Yeah,
back, but um, couldn't raise money.
yeah. I think like what you said resonates a lot with me as well because I've tried to I think I'm a failed serial entrepreneur. I've not had any successful ventures yet, but I don't give up on that. But I tried to speak with some investors, try to get some people interested in my ideas, and a lot of times I felt like I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying my ideas were perfect. They always are like work in progress. But they like whenever I spoke with people with money, I felt like that I'm speaking with people who are dead inside, who lack vision, who are afraid to see beyond what they can see right now, who lack peripheral vision, like who can't see around the corner, who can't even who wouldn't even dare to predict around the corner. They want to be so data driven that they stop
Not data driven,
innovating
not data driven. No, no,
data
no.
that they have, not data of the market,
Data that
data.
they have. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, subjective data, like this is the data that we have, this is what we bought from Traction or
Yeah.
like Crunchbase or this, and this is where the market is going. So that
Uh-huh.
I think that's a very biased view of like looking at people because like that's what limits them and they want to limit us with their limitations, and I just think that that's so frustrating. Like, and any or like good entrepreneur that you find like in the past also, like Steve Jobs, even Steve Jobs has had to convince Mark Macula, who was his first investor, uh, to invest in him for no reason at all, just because he was selling some computers. Everyone knew that he's selling great things, but nobody was still investing in him, and then
Mhm.
everyone wanted to invest in him. So I think that first vote of confidence is what makes or breaks people's stories. I wouldn't
Mhm.
even say businesses,
Mhm.
but stories.
Mhm.
But yeah, I completely resonate on that with you that investors lack vision, man, so much.
I mean, it's just, it's not about vision or anything. It's just that, who's making decisions.
Yeah,
So, people, uh, they have their thinking outsourced. When a lot of people, it's good to outsource work, but, when
yeah,
you outsource thinking, like somebody else is doing the thinking for people.
yeah,
Let's say what's cool right now? Gen AI is cool right now. Gen AI is not cool right now because it's making business, which where if it has real possibilities of creating good businesses or whether the use case has been
yeah,
verified or something. Gen AI is cool because people in US are seeing Gen AI is cool and
yeah,
people in US are investing in Gen AI. Similarly, just a year ago, crypto was cool.
yeah,
Crypto was not cool because it was proving itself to be a good business opportunity
yeah,
because people in US thought
yeah.
crypto was cool.
The
Then
trendsetters.
NFT was cool,
Yeah,
Before crypto and NFT, what was cool? Uh, I guess
SaaS, like the SaaS
vernacular
era,
was cool. No, no, no. Vernacular social
vernacular.
networking
Yeah,
was cool,
yeah,
Share chat was cool, and so on.
yeah,
Everybody in that regard was cool. Now it's not cool. So everything that is cool right now is not because somebody is actually doing some thinking, it's because people somewhere have said it's cool, and that's how people think, and that's what leads to all the wrong decisions. This whole herd, and that's why good people are so good. Like Sanjeev Bichhandani sir, he's
yeah,
never looking at this. He's always looking at things from his own perspective.
yeah,
And that's why his bets are not like that. When everybody was investing in crypto, he was not investing in crypto. When everybody was investing in NFTs, he didn't touch NFTs. And
yeah,
everybody was investing in vernacular social networking, he didn't do that, because somebody needs to do their own thinking, and most
yeah,
people don't. And that's why and entrepreneurs have to do their own thinking, right? Because they're trying to
yeah,
earn their bread and butter. So they
yeah,
do a lot of thinking, and then they meet these people who are basically watching all in podcast or something like that to think, and then they
yeah.
find like, okay, nobody's listening to us. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. It's no,
True,
can't,
true.
yeah.
But I've worked in a market research like couple of market research organizations before, who used to work with the brands like Gartner, Forrester, and whatnot, like the big income market research organizations of the world, Moody's, and all that jazz. So, but I'll just tell you one thing on my end. Like I won't go into the details, but all of the market research like reports are fabricated. Like
Mm,
the company will come with the notion that this is what I want to do. So the
mhm,
market research report is
mhm,
made into such that it makes it like look like that what they're saying is right.
mhm.
That is why you will see big companies always have data to back them up, even though they're wrong. They
Mhm.
were like in hindsight they were wrong, but they still had that at that point of time. They had data to back them up, to back their theories up. So
Yeah, yeah, I know. Market research. I wrote an article about Bain. I wrote a piece. So Bain, it said back in 2015-16, uh, that India's GDP per capita will be $5,500 in 2030.
okay,
$5,500. You know, so they, based on that calculation, it turned out that they had predicted an 11.5% growth
okay,
in GDP per capita yearly,
yeah,
every year from 2023 or 2022 to 2030. They were
yeah,
predicting 11.5% of growth every year for the Indian economy.
yeah,
11.5%.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it, these people are fucking idiots, man. So that's what I wrote, because 11.5% is not a growth rate to imagine
yeah,
in this day and age for
yeah,
any country, even India,
yeah,
even India, you know. And I did my math,
yeah,
while on a long road trip, and I found out that India has a chance of growing 8% every year, very optimistic, but 8% CAGR to reach GDP per capita of 4,500 by 2030.
yeah.
And 2 years have gone by, 2 or 3 years have gone by since they wrote that report. And since then, India has grown 6.7%, 7%, and 7.5%.
Closer to
So,
what you had predicted.
exactly, and I did it for free. I didn't, I didn't send anybody an invoice.
Yeah,
And I just read the same things that they should have read.
yeah,
And they were so fucking wrong.
yeah,
And I was more accurate.
yeah. I
either
think
it's either it's just intellectual dishonesty, as you were putting it, because they
yeah,
wanted to print that report so that
yeah.
people could do whatever they wanted to do, or it's just unbelievable stupidity, and
I think it's a mix of both. I
either
think
it's to either of the both, or
yeah,
maybe, or basically a mix of both. I don't know, but
yeah,
the point is, since then I have uh, stopped believing anything
yeah.
from coming from these people.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a mix of both because I think it's intellectual dishonesty, and they're
Mm.
also stupid enough to think that people like you don't exist, like who will do their own math. So
Mm.
they're taking the whole country or like global economics for a ride. People who
Mhm.
will not spend 2 seconds on like questioning their report. Like you've heard about that experiment, right, with 5 monkeys and a banana. That
Mm.
you put 5 monkeys in a cage and put the banana on top, and whenever they go try to get the banana, you spray them with water. They
Mhm.
don't. Now you replace one monkey at a time with a new monkey, and whenever the new monkey tries to get the banana, the other old monkeys beat them. So
Mhm.
after a point, there's no old monkey and there's only new monkeys, and nobody's trying to get the banana.
I know, I know.
So so that's the effect that I think they drive. Like nobody's questioning Bain anymore.
Mhm.
I think that is what they're
No,
playing at.
that's why I wrote that article. I just want
Exactly.
someone to get fired. I want
Yeah.
that partner to get fired from Bain. I want Bain to issue an apology
Yeah.
for
Did you
publishing.
get it?
So no, I haven't gotten yet, but I'll write about it again as soon as the another year's report comes out. I'll just gonna refresh that article. I
Yeah.
I want somebody to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We are so sorry." On what
Yeah.
basis did you come up with 11.5% growth rate per
Yeah.
year of
This is
Indian
exactly
economy?
why recession happened in 2008. Like because these people were giving false reports on like country's economy, and then like there's some grade, right, triple A or double A or whatever that they give,
Yeah,
and
that's a beautiful book by Michael Lewis on it. It's called Big
yeah,
Shot. It also
Big Shot,
moved.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I saw the movie. I watched the movie. I'm not very big on books. I'm a movie guy, so I watched that movie.
great movie. So yeah,
Yeah,
of course, intellectual dishonesty is the root of all
exactly.
problems. But yeah.
And that. like a guy was just so flabbergasted at the equation that you guys are just lying and people just are believing you, and that is why this economy is going to crash. It's not going to crash because of who is crashing it, but it's going to crash because of the stupidity of people who are choosing to believe you. And
Yeah.
I think
No, I'm
that's
greatly inspired by Michael Lewis. I read all
yeah,
his books, and he's done some pioneering work. Flash
yeah.
Boys is
That's what
another.
it reminded me of when you just said that I did my own math, and it felt very similar to what he did because he was shorting like banks at that point of time,
Yeah,
bank
yeah, yeah.
stocks, and everyone
Even
was
the guy they covered,
yeah,
Steve Carell, the
yeah,
guy who played, and the guy played by Christian Bale. He's actually
yeah,
Michael Burry.
yeah,
Now, Michael Burry, sir, is one of the greatest minds of this generation. He's a
yeah,
very, very solid guy.
yeah,
Very solid guy. And I
yeah,
read him a lot. I've read,
yeah,
he's a very interesting character, and he's one
yeah,
of the inspirational people, I'm sure, for a lot.
yeah,
He should be. He
exactly.
has given a retirement speech, no, a commencement speech to Harvard graduates, something like
Yeah,
that. You should watch it. What he said
I
in
will
that.
definitely watch it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful speech.
Yeah. I also share and try to share the video link in the like description of this like podcast when it airs out, so that other people can also watch it.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but thanks for sharing that. But I also saw that you have some really interesting metrics with something called Seneca in your ventures, one of your ventures. So,
Yeah,
like, could you elaborate more on that because it looks very interesting from the metrics that you shared? I would just like to understand what it is.
absolutely. Seneca is a distraction-free smartphone that we are trying to build, and
You're building a smartphone, like a
yeah,
physical smartphone.
yeah, we are building a distraction-free smartphone. What we mean by distraction-free is that it doesn't have gaming, it doesn't have media, entertainment, and it doesn't have social networking. Social
Okay.
networking, entertainment, and gaming go out of the phone, and what you're left with is a utilitarian device, super utility, distraction-free smartphone.
Okay.
So every moment that you spend on the smartphone is a moment which is productive, which is free of distractions, which is very, very, you know, uh, nice for your mental health and
Yeah.
also physical health, because smartphone addiction is one of the greatest problems of 21st century. People are addicted to technology, and technology which is not useful. So
Yeah.
India on an average spends over 6 hours a day on smartphones. There are
Okay.
600
That's very high.
million.
The average is 6 hours and
Average six
more.
hours. So, you have 600 million smartphone users who
Okay.
are spending 6 hours a day on average on the smartphone. So
Yeah.
600 million hours a day, you know. So it's
Yeah.
basically Indian lifespan is 70 years. So if you divide that
It would
in
be
terms
30 like 3.6 billion, right? Hours a day if it's 600 million mobile phones spending 6 hours a day.
6 hours a day, yeah, 3.6 million. That's what I said, right?
Billion.
Six, yeah, 3.6 billion hours a day.
Yeah.
So you are looking at 10 million lives
Yeah.
going out of the system. People are basically throwing their lives away on smartphone addiction. And only 1.5 hours is utilitarian. Rest is all leisure. Rest is
Yeah.
all unpaid labor for, media, I'm sorry, social networking companies. So
Yeah.
it's a disease. Kids are getting diseased. Parents, like adults, are facing. And it's not that people don't want to be away from the smartphone addiction. Everybody who is addicted to the smartphone says that, no, I want to be away, but I'm not being able to be away.
Okay.
So they are stuck. People are stuck being addicted to the smartphone. It's just that they don't have any choice. There's
Yeah.
Android, there's iPhone, but it's basically the same service, right?
Okay.
Same app store which has everything. Seneca, what it does is it removes the distracting elements of a smartphone. You
Yeah.
still get to do all the work. So
Yeah.
now the best way to ditch smartphone addiction is to ditch a smartphone, right? But you can't ditch a smartphone in this day and age, because then you're left with that touchtone phone which I
Yeah.
used.
The burner
But
phone.
yeah, but you can't use navigation on it, you can't have maps, you can't have
The
financial apps,
necessities. Yeah.
payments, you can't have learning apps, you can't. There's a lot which goes out of the window. So what Seneca does is it basically creates a super utility distraction free smartphone which helps you do everything you want but doesn't allow you to waste time.
How are you building this? Like, how are you manufacturing this? Is it
We don't have to
there?
manufacture a phone. We import a phone. We take a phone and order a new device, just like every smart. Like how is Boat bringing all the speakers and
So you
earphones,
get
right?
white label phones.
Yeah, we get white labeled phone and we have our own operating system that we
Okay.
deploy on those phones. That's the thing that we're trying to do.
So are these phones out right now, or
No, no,
they're
no.
yet
We
to
are
get?
raising money for it. We're raising money. We have an MVP. We have over 1,000 people in the wait list, some 1.5
Okay.
crores in booked revenue. We
Okay.
have a lot of sub. We are viral for this, but we're trying to raise money. Let's see if we are being able to raise money for this as well, because it's
Okay.
possible, that if we raise money, then we have a very, very important, very valuable, very positive company to build. But it's
So
subject to money. We need money.
true. But there's this app called Minimalist, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
who's
that's a
doing
bullshit
this.
thing. You can just switch off the app.
Yeah.
You can switch off minimalist, or you
Yeah.
can switch off anything, any
Yeah.
app. You can switch off, you can delete the apps.
Yeah.
If that's
Yeah.
the case, right? That's not how it works. Human beings follow the path of least resistance. You
Yeah.
know, just like water, just like electric current, just like heat, least resistance. What's
Yeah.
the least resistance thing? If it's a phone in your hand, you're gonna pick it up and then you're
Yeah.
gonna use the
Yeah.
addicting. That's how
Yeah.
it works. Yeah.
True. So, but that's very interesting because last year, around this time only, we like got a tech influencer on the podcast with whom we were like my co-host and I were discussing very extensively that why are there not any successful Indian mobile phone manufacturing companies, and because I think it's like we're the biggest market for all the mobile phones out there, for all the mobile phone companies out there, but we don't have a big mobile phone company of our own. So that's very
Lava is one.
Lava, Lava is one, Micromax was one, so it's not there
Lava is
anymore.
still standing.
Exactly, Lava is still standing, but it's like I think we need some. Lava is not a premium phone that we can consider, like with the likes of what now what OnePlus has become, or what iPhone and a Samsung is. So I think we need a premium Indian phone. Like it could be a utility phone, but it
Yeah, yeah,
needs
that's
to be
that's what
there.
we want to be. We want to be something built in India for the world.
Exactly.
Because this thing will be unprecedented. It's a very innovative thing. It's a very
Yeah.
important thing. A lot of people want it. That's why people have signed up on
Yeah.
the
I
website.
saw.
Yeah, so let's hope, we can pray that
Yeah.
something works.
But 1.6 crores of revenue you've already generated, like
Without the product, without the website.
without the product. All right. So now you're using that money to procure
No,
the.
no, no. We can't procure anything with that money. So we want funds to procure the devices.
How much funds are you looking for?
So we want to procure 30,000 devices, and each device costs like 5 to 6,000. So you
Okay.
can see 15 crores. And we have something going on with the founder of Geoni who's helping us procure. In that case, we're going to be procuring 5,000 devices. But even
Okay.
5,000 devices will require at least 3 crores
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah.
Also, 1.5 crores is booked revenue. We
Yeah.
didn't charge like 15,000 rupees from every customer. The booked revenue is joining a playlist. That's a token money. So
Yeah.
booked revenue is of people, 1,100 people have bought the phone with an advance. They've not paid the full money.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Got it. But that's pretty cool. Yeah. But I really hope that you're able to build that
It
company
is
and build that
cool.
phone.
I sincerely hope that we're able to
Yeah.
do it because it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
Exactly. I would love to have one of my own. Like because
Yes.
I
Everybody says the same thing.
exactly. It's because I look at the other options like the burner phones and all, but and all. I don't want to use that. I don't
Hmm.
want to use the burner. I want, like you said, I want the maps. I want the ease of
Of course,
life at
yes,
least,
yes, that's
if
what.
not the
And
like
it's
the
going to be a
luxury of life.
status symbol, it's going to be a status symbol. Like
Yeah.
people are going to be looking at a boardroom desk and everybody's going to be having an Apple or a OnePlus, and then somebody's coming or come up with Seneca, and
Yeah.
that person is going to be cool, and
Yeah.
everybody else is going to be uncool. You
Yeah.
know, that's how we want to be. It's a super premium status symbol thing.
I really hope it works out.
Yeah.
But um, but we were like talking about, I think, timing and money and VCs and whatnot. And you recently spoke about Zero does $1 billion revenue, and in that post you spoke about luck, like what Nitin Kamath said, that luck. We have been really lucky in our journey, and that's what that has made us successful. And you spoke very highly about it, the luck as a concept in general, and I am a firm believer of that as well, because a lot of people try to seem bigger than they are, and smarter than they are, when it was all just timing and luck.
Yeah, yeah,
So so, like, would you really like? What is your take on luck, in general, like outside of that post also? So, how, like,
I believe everything is luck. Like a lot of things that happen in life are outside one's control. The best you can do is be best prepared, be the hardest working person, be the, most well-intentioned person. But at the end of the day, most of what happens to you is not in your control.
yeah,
So I really like Peter Thiel, uh, you
yeah,
know, but this is where I disagree with him because this is what it is. I mean, if you look at any success story or any failure story, because graveyard is a very silent place,
yeah,
uh, it
true,
doesn't say anything.
yeah,
And all of those people, many of those people, a lot of those people also worked equally harder, even harder than people who actually made it.
yeah,
But some people just ended up making it or being in a better place because, they knew somebody or somebody knew them and somebody reached out to them and something happened. And, just like right now we are doing this podcast,
yeah,
you know, most podcasts don't get noticed by anybody. Nobody watches them. You know, some clip comes out of this video and it goes viral, and then
yeah,
suddenly you'll be lucky and not you'll not be lucky because you worked hard or anything. It's just that it clicked, and
yeah,
nothing else
true,
clicked. So that's what happens in business a lot.
yeah,
And I am a musician. I've been playing music for 20 years. I have 18 songs, 7 lakh streams. It
yeah,
happens in music as well. It happens in writing. It happens everywhere,
yeah,
everywhere. Most people, are just absorbing the best available,
yeah,
which the universe has, and they just
yeah,
sometimes find it. And that's what it is. Anybody, I have grown very tired of somebody beating their own bush, beating their own horn and telling people that no, I don't believe in luck
yeah.
and I create
You
my
have
own.
to make your own luck,
You have to
and
make your own luck. Those people are severely, uh, you know, uh,
egoistic.
lacking self-awareness.
Exactly.
Yeah, so people are really lacking self-awareness when they say that, oh no, we make our own luck, because
Yeah,
you might just get hit by a truck tomorrow.
yeah.
People get hit by trucks, man. They're just
Every
walking
day,
on the road and somebody
every day.
just beats them up,
Yeah,
and they just get killed for no reason,
yeah,
and that could be you one day. But
yeah, yeah.
all you
But
can hope, yeah.
we're still arrogant that we know
Yeah,
everything.
absolutely, yeah. And now you just say, no, I'm a good driver and I'm like this and that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
okay,
But
sure.
yeah, you could be a good driver. Nobody's questioning that. But your car could be faulty. Your tire
Yeah,
could burst.
anything, anything.
Exactly. And like the recent example of, like, when you touched upon the music, like being lucky in music, I think the recent example that comes to my mind is of Hanuman Kind.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he went really, really big with the big dogs.
Yeah,
But I think he has had better songs in, like, in terms of a good song. I think he has had better songs before, but this one clicked, and this
yeah.
one went international and went viral.
Who knows, man? Who Nobody knows these things, yaar. It's just कौन है कहाँ मतलब किसी को कोई मिल जाए, something happens.
Yeah,
It's just a bunch of bullshit, actually. This big dogs thing and
yeah,
I mean, just look at it's just the more you read about things, the more you read, the
yeah,
more you actually delve into depth of a story,
yeah.
the more you find it, you know, weird.
Yeah, I have I have a lot of insights on, like, just on this subject, that what people think that, oh, this was meant to happen, or this was this and that. Like, sometimes, like, people don't even understand how luck works. So, like, that is a very big, like, controversial topic for me. So I'm not going to get into that. But I just feel like people don't take luck into equation. And, like, there was an economist that I think I always forget his name, and he's mentioned in the book, like Psychology of Money. And when reporters asked him that he won a Nobel Prize, so when people asked him that what is something that you still don't understand about money, he said the exact role of luck in the process of making money. I don't understand it because you can do everything right, but you can still not make money. So what I take it as a man of faith as well, that it's naseeb at the end of the day. कि आपके नसीब में होगा तो आपको मिलेगा, आपसे कोई नहीं छीन सकता. अगर आपके नसीब में नहीं होगा तो आप किसी से नहीं छीन सकते. As it's as simple as that. You can be the smartest, but you're not the strongest in terms of spiritual being. So
No, yeah, yeah, I'm seriously. I read about this whenever I go to speaking assignments. People call me for
yeah,
colleges and schools, and this is what I say. Like, how can you be lucky? This is
yeah,
my topic of speaking most of the
very
times.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, so like, let's say you want to be lucky. If
yeah,
given a chance, would you be? Would you be strong? Would you be most educated? Would you be the most talented, or would you be lucky?
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
how can you actually optimize luck if it's possible? What can you
yeah,
do to be more lucky? That's what I
yeah,
always talk about because
yeah,
I care about this concept a lot. I've seen myself being very lucky.
yeah,
I've seen myself being extremely lucky. Things I've gotten on the platter without
yeah,
working for them, you
yeah,
know, just like things falling in on my lap when I didn't want them. I
yeah,
didn't want them,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
just got so lucky that it just happened to me. And I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? I
yeah,
have had that. And then I've had things where I struggled for years and decades, and I
yeah,
worked every muscle in my body, in my heart and soul. I put into it. I prayed and did everything I could have, or anybody could have,
yeah,
and still didn't get shit. I didn't get
yeah,
any zip.
yeah,
So I've seen both sides of it.
yeah.
So I can clearly say that,
Likewise, I'm a 12th class dropout. I'm a high school dropout. I didn't not go to college for whatever reason, my personal reasons. But I didn't let that stop me and sit at home, because also I could not afford to. I had to run a household. I had to take care of my family. So I had to go out there and earn, regardless of what comes my way. Like if it's 10,000, I will earn 10,000. If it's 20,000, I will earn 20,000. If it's something that people will show me too good to be true and then not pay me in the end, I will still take that gamble because I want that. But
really needed money. Very
yeah, I
respectable.
just need money. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just need money, and that's where I think I got my grit. That you don't not everything needs to be a career. Some things can be just to earn money, and then you can get back to your career wherever you want to be. And you just keep begin with the end in mind, and then you keep working towards that slowly but surely. You don't have to be on that straight path to your goal at all times. You can't do that. Like you can't be on the football pitch at all times. You can, if you don't have a football pitch and that stops you from training for football, I think that's lack of intent. Like people, we know of stories of such stories that people have trained in the streets. People have gotten better in homes, like just kicking the ball on the wall, and they become one of the best players. They did not have the field. They did not even have shoes. So I think that's just a mental block that people used to stop themselves. So, but yeah, I completely agree with the luck part. I think everything that has happened in my life has happened for me or to me. I've not played a big part in them. I was just at the right place at the right by the will of God, alhamdulillah. But
Mhm.
one funny thing that I want to touch upon is that I think that got most of my attention was that uh, you responded to our, I think, a VC's post on Maddox films on three to success. So, like, do you often do that? Like, do you often get back? Like, if someone says anything wrong, or what was your a lot of people would think what you were saying and writing, but they would still not go so publicly talking about someone like a Viral's post.
No, no, I mean, it's just I was like, I don't have a problem with people writing something incorrect,
Yeah,
but that response to that post was funny because people were like, "Oh no, right, this is that," and though that was wrong. So I was like,
yeah,
somebody needs to correct this. Why is anybody not saying the basics of film industry, which has been existed like for 100 years?
yeah,
First of all, somebody like Aviral shouldn't, it's not expected from somebody like him to post something totally incorrect. factually incorrect statement. You don't expect
Yeah.
them because these people have people verifying and
Yeah.
writing stuff like that. So that's very weird. But if they've written something, then people need to actually do their own uh, a little bit
Like
of
due diligence.
due diligence. But nobody was doing that. So I felt compelled that, hey, somebody needs to say this, man. And
Yeah.
I'm a creative guy. I play music. I write films, and I
Yeah.
like. I'm a huge cinema buff. So I was like, no, 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 no. This won't stand. This is wrong.
Well,
Somebody needs to say.
yeah, but it was a very interesting post. I wasn't offended. Like if someone were to write that about my post, but they were like just stating facts and not putting me down because
No, no,
I truly
I
felt
didn't want to put him or
exactly.
anybody down. You
Yeah,
know,
I saw that. I saw through it. Like I've I've gotten over myself enough that I don't take every criticism like personally, but constructively also because you were only trying to like he was also talking in a public forum, so you were also talking replying to him in a public forum rather than just commenting on his post. Oh, you did this wrong. You did that wrong. So that's the same thing that you did. So, but I think it's very in like what you did was very interesting. Like you went very deep into a lot of numbers that like if it's 1,000 crores that's being propagated, it's not 1,000 crores. It's so many like shares goes to like
yeah, and
distributors and this and
that's
that.
the problem. It wasn't a deep thing.
Yeah,
That is the first piece of
it was
information.
deep for me. It was
Yeah,
deep
it
for
was
me.
deep for you, but
Yeah,
if somebody knows the
yeah,
industry, it's the first detail.
yeah,
You know, I could have like written two essays under it
yeah,
because that's how I know about it.
yeah,
It was unbelievable how that was written, and it was like, but whatever it is, I mean, I'm just happy that people got to know, and he
yeah.
responded to it very
Yeah, he
politely,
did.
said,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was
He's a
nice.
good guy. Yeah, I don't think that he was. I just think he was taken aback by the response of your post. I don't think he was expecting that much response to your post. But just out of curiosity, like on the same subject, s- and please forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm correct. But I just want to clarify one thought. But let's say that three made 1,000 crores in the box office, right? So that could be considered as three's revenue, not profits, right? The
No,
box office figure is not
box
revenue also.
office. Yeah, the box office. So
Like
Street
it's not the
revenue.
profit.
Hmm?
I'm not talking about profit right now. I'm talking about the revenue part. Like revenue is in like inclusive of everything, right? The cost, the operations and everything, and the
Mhm.
distribution. So
Mhm.
this 1,000 crores could be considered as revenue of the movie, right?
So that's a way of accounting for things. So let's say if Stree considers 1,000 crores on its books, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Now that's not possible, I think, because Stree is not taking money from people directly.
Hmm.
The revenue is getting booked by the cinema guys,
Okay.
right? So box office is coming on the cinema guys. Like PVR's revenue could be that. Stree's revenue could be what it gets from the distributors when it sells,
Right.
not from people.
So distributors like buy the movie from the producers.
Yes, yes, yes. And
So
then they give it an extra share of what the box office. So what happens is people go to the box office, right? Now, box office is the collection ticket counter. That's called
yeah,
box office,
yeah,
right? That's how the word came. It's a
yeah,
box and the office which gives tickets out. That's why
yeah,
it's called box office.
yeah,
So box office collects some money. Now that money is collected by the cinema owner,
yeah.
That's why it's called box office. Now 50% of that goes to the cinema guy himself.
Okay.
He keeps the 50%, roughly 50%. In some
Yeah,
cases, he keeps more, in some cases, he keeps less. Let's say if it's a
yeah,
big movie, he agrees to keep less. But if it's a small movie, he says, no, I'll charge more because I'm giving you the platform, so I'll
yeah,
charge more. So 50% he keeps as his house nut, let's say,
yeah.
and then the rest of the 50% is going to the producers and distributors of the film.
Okay.
So the distributors and producers have a deal. The producers made the film. Let's say they made the film with their own money or their financiers. So you've got to understand how it is. The movie is getting made. There's a creative producer. Then there is a financier. Now they make a movie. They come with a
Yeah.
final product. They spend whatever they spend. They have an understanding of how that movie money is going to get split. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't understand, we don't have the details of their contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
That between the Geo guys and these guys and Maddock
Yeah.
and the people who produced. Now that movie gets sold first in the theaters.
Yeah.
So it gets roughly half of the box office,
Okay.
right? But but people who bought that movie to get it to the cinema guys. There's also a middleman layer there. That's called a distributor layer.
Okay.
Now these people say that I'm going to buy these prints and I'm going to distribute this money to these number of screens.
Okay.
So he also ends up taking some cut from the box office because he
Yeah.
gets that he assumes some risk of that movie.
Hmm.
And then finally, the cinema guy collects all the money which comes. So
Okay.
the cinema guy, first of all, takes his own money, 50% out, and
Hmm.
then gives it to whoever needs to. And then that rest of the 50% gets distributed firstly between the producers and the distributors. Now,
Okay.
distributors might take 5-10% or whatever, then the distributors go out. Then the producers also divide that money between the
Right.
creative producer and the financier.
Right.
Right, so this is how the chain, the what do you say, the value chain or the food chain or whatever, cinema guys, distributors, which are the middlemen, the screen
Yeah.
guys, the trade people they call,
Yeah.
then the
The
creative
theaters.
producers, and then the
Yeah.
financiers.
Right.
And
Right.
and then all of these people, while the movie is sold to cinema halls, based on that they get satellite deals,
Yeah.
they get TV deals, they get the OTT deals. Now,
Yeah.
those deals, obviously, there's no cinema guy. So that
Yeah.
only goes to the financier and the creative producer and then gets
Got it.
split. That's
Got it.
how it is working out.
But the 1,000 crore like figure. So it's box office. So that means it's completely coming from the ticket sales. Like
Yes.
1,000 crores of tickets. So on top of 1,000 crores, three two made like distribution sales also. Like when they sold the film to the distributors, right?
No, 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 no. The distributors gave that film to the cinema halls.
So they don't sell it.
No, 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 no. So what happens is, like, you made a movie.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, you can't directly go to PVR and say that I want my movie in all my screens.
okay,
You can do that, but some people can't do that. So what happens is there's PVR, then there's South Chains, there's Wave, there's so many cinemas, there's
Inox, yeah,
independent people who are running single screen
yeah,
theaters. So there are distributors who say, let me buy the print,
rights,
I'll
yeah,
get it to 600 screens.
okay,
So these guys also want a cut, right? So
yeah.
they buy your film and distribute it to the screens that they have in their
Yeah.
network.
So that's what I'm asking. So the movie is also on top of the 1,000 crore sale. The
No, no,
movie is
this is
also
the part of the 1,000 crores because
this
these
is
guys
part of.
get into the screens only.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So it's part of 1,000 crores.
yeah, yeah. The
Okay,
distributors are basically guys who have some screens in their network. Screens
yeah,
by mean single screens or multiplexes,
yeah,
and they get that movie to the screens.
got it.
That's the
But then when they get the money back from the theaters, then they keep a cut for themselves, and then they pass on the rest to
or
the.
or 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 they could actually buy the print and then take whatever they take.
Okay,
So it
so
can work either ways. You don't know.
okay,
Every
okay,
contract is like different, because if it's a very, very big movie, the
yeah,
distributor can't charge much because he doesn't have a leverage, right?
yeah,
He might not even exist in that case because
yeah,
people will just be dealing with the big chains and so on and so forth. But if it's a
yeah,
very indie movie, a small movie, the
yeah.
distributor might say that I'll take 5% of the box office, you know,
Okay,
and so on and so forth. He doesn't take anything firsthand, but he takes 5% of the box office. If it's a very small movie, it says, no, I want this much money first, to
yeah,
be able to make my expenses back. Who knows?
yeah.
Ideally, it's a percentage, but it can go either way. You can't be sure.
Yeah. Recently what I've seen as a trend is for like Pakistani shows and like movies like Laila Majnu and Rockstar who got like re-released in the theater. So I saw that, oh, there's someone, I don't know who, but someone is doing very viral reel marketing for a period of 3 to 4 months. And when they viral, like make it viral over there, then they start engaging the response. Like they see which movie is doing better, and then they just re-release that movie. But it's not happening on its own. So someone is like crafting these marketing strategies
Nothing
on
happens
reels.
on its own. Nothing
Yeah,
happens on its own.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
he's thinking about re-releasing Rockstar to fill
Yeah,
some theater seats. They want to go with Rockstar because there is some buzz,
yeah,
People are on so it is a very, very big decision for them because they are actually not screening a current movie.
yeah,
Instead, they are screening some 20-year-old movie so that they
yeah,
can sell a few seats. So
yeah,
obviously, after a lot of research, after a lot of testing, they seen, okay, let's play this movie.
yeah. Yeah, I was just reading a like snippet by Karan Johar, like a comment by Karan Johar on these modern day movie theaters, is that this ticket sales is also going down because the families are not able to afford the complete hangout. Like the popcorns are so expensive and the food is so expensive at these theaters that people, like the parents of good kids who want to go out and see movies, don't take them there because otherwise they'll have to buy the popcorn, they have to buy the coke, and on top of the ticket, and tickets are not as high. So like the food is very, very expensive there. So that is what is hampering the ticket sales trend of Bollywood as well.
The hypothesis,
Yeah,
a lot of hypotheses exist because cinemas are falling.
yeah, completely. They open to being booked for parties, for office seminars,
Yeah.
for private screenings. So this never happened before. So now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very, they're marketing it.
And they will keep going down because people
Yeah,
are not going for movies anymore. And cinema as an industry, movie making, because you can't make money on OTT. That's the
yeah,
problem. You
yeah.
know, OTT doesn't make any money for the producers. It's not
How
very
do they
valuable.
make money?
What?
Like how they're still making money, like the OTT outside of the subscription models, they're still making money. Like if someone like
OTTs
launches
are
a
making
movie,
money. The people who put in the movies, the indie movies, they are not making money.
so why do they do that? Like there's some good movies also coming out just on OTT, so they're doing it for
They
free.
don't have any option. So I
Okay.
was I was talking to Rajat Kapoor sir, who has written and directed movies like Mithya, Aakho Dekhi,
Yeah,
Kadak, RK,
yeah.
great director, great actor also. He's
Yeah,
worked Dil Chahta Hai, if you remember Rajat Kapoor. Now
Rajat
he's
Kapoor is also in Kapoor and Sons, right?
Kapoor and
The
Sons, yes.
father.
Yeah, the father, yes, yes. So he is a writer and director. He's one of the best directors of India, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Art
he's a
movie
very good
director,
actor also.
very good actor. So it's like, where does an indie movie go now?
Yeah,
It can't take cinema seats. Like,
yeah,
you know, theaters are very difficult for
yeah,
an indie movie to crack,
yeah,
right? It gets very limited number of screens
yeah,
and a very limited window, like a two
yeah.
or 3 day or a 1 week at max window. And that also, it doesn't make any money because, people don't know about it. People expect those movies to be watched on OTT. So what option does a company, does an indie production house have or an indie movie has? Because now these people, like if you look at Amazon or Netflix, they were paying 1.5 crores for an indie movie.
Okay.
So
So they buy the movie from you.
yeah, so there are two ways. So if it's an already released movie, they buy telecast rights, broadcast rights, for which they pay nothing, very little. If it's
Okay.
an indie movie, like Aankho Dekhi, Rajat Kapoor sir said that Netflix got Aankho Dekhi for 6 lakh rupees.
Okay. That's very less.
6 lakh rupees. It's an
Yeah,
insult, you know,
yeah.
but it got it for that. And then there was a streaming percentage which goes out to the movie, the movie guys, and the
Some
rest,
royalty sort of thing.
yeah, some royalty sort of thing, but which is also very less. So where does the movie go? It can either go on YouTube. If it can't go to the screen, where does it go? That's the problem. You
I think
know,
that's a problem that could be solved, right? Like
no, it
if
can't be solved.
I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just saying that if let's say you create a OTT platform, which is a virtual theater,
Mhm.
uh, and like you are not functioning as other OTTs. So it's a pay per movie sort of thing rather than a subscription based model. So
So
you
the
want to
paper
watch a movie?
thing, movie thing is hard to sell, right?
But if
You
it's a good movie,
you
then people
really
will.
need a lot of marketing, a lot
You
of
need a more
marketing.
of 100%.
So where does that money come from? Marketing means money, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Need a lot of money to make somebody pay for your movie in this day and age. Like it needs a lot of cred. Like you have to rent movies out, because people do anything to avoid paying for a movie, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
So
true.
and if you end up spending all that money for people to pay for it, how much more money gets saved at the end is a question which you need to ask yourself.
So what was the budget of Aankho Dekhi? Do you have any idea?
6 crores.
6 crores. So were they able to make that back?
No, they didn't make that back.
So what happens in that case?
They lose money.
Okay.
So
What?
Drishyam Films made Aankho Dekhi. The first movie which Drishyam Films made was Aankho Dekhi. It was with
Okay.
Rajat Kapoor sir. They spent 6 crores on that movie. 2.5 crore was on P&A, print and advertising, it's called. So
Mm-hmm.
out of 6 crores, 2.5 crores was an advertising. 3.5 crores went into the production of that film. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now 2.5 crores went into P&A. They did TV ads, they did everything. I don't know the box office was Aankho Dekhi was. Maybe it was 2 crores, 3 crores, or I don't know. I'll check. But it made, let's say, 2 or 3 crores back. So
Yeah.
it was 3 crores under, you
Yeah.
know. Now, how it made that 3 crore back is nobody knows. They basically lost that money. Then they went on to produce a lot of movies like Newton and Masan and,
Newton was Rajkumar Rao and Masan was Vicky Kaushal, right?
yes. So these movies were Drishyam films. So Drishyam
Okay.
films' first movie was Aankho Dekhi. Then it made Masan. Then it made Dhanak, X Past is Present, Newton, Kamyab with Red Chilies, and
Yeah.
all these art movies. So they're very, very super art. They made Garam Hawa and
Okay.
a lot of great, great, great movies. Total art
Yeah.
stuff, stuff of art.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for these guys to make money because then, okay, you get 1.5, 2.5 crore rupees from Netflix, which barely covers the production budget because that's
Yeah.
what they're willing to spend. They'll give you 1.5 crores or 2 crores, you know. The rest of it, it's just how do you make it back? The streaming royalties don't really cut it. Cinemas goes out of the go out of the then you do got to do events, and so on and so forth. So it's a very tough business. It's become tough because cinemas have gone down, and that's a very big problem because now the quality of movies goes down very, very much. Because why would anybody make a movie now? That's the play. Like, why
Yeah.
would you make a movie? You're a smart guy. You have everything going on for you. You are a very creative person. You can write, you can, put it on screen. Why would you do movies? You know,
It's
पैसे
not
तो
as glamorous.
huh?
It's not as glamorous as it used to be or
It
seemed at
doesn't make
least.
money anymore, right? That's the problem. So let's say if it's like music, very smart people could become musicians, right? Very smart people, they were brilliant people. They could do a lot of other things in life, but they became musicians because it has a way to make money. Now,
Yeah.
music doesn't make any money. Streaming doesn't pay for anything, right? I
So
have got
isn't
7 lakh
YouTube a
streams,
good platform?
6 paisa per stream, you know.
Okay. YouTube on YouTube.
Yeah, 2 paisa per stream on Spotify. So if it doesn't make money, like why would I do it? Unless I'm extremely passionate, I'm willing to die hungry, but there are very few people like that. And even those people, when they get married, they have to make choices,
Like pay
right?
bills, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
So they end up sacrificing their passions. And that's what happened with music. You know, a lot of people just left music. If you read music history, a lot of good people, great people just left music altogether because they saw that पैसे ही नहीं आ रहे यहाँ से तो, you know.
Hmm.
The same thing is going to happen with movies. A lot of people who they just not make movies anymore. And then what kind of movies you get? Like mentally deranged, retarded movies, the cinema, the superhero underwear wearing adults, fighting to save the world and like absolutely retarded stuff. Because
Yeah.
for mature audiences, if you have like adult mature audiences, you got adult mature stories, right? But there's no money in that. So what happens now?
So, like you created a custom audience for Testament, like of 12 lakh engineers,
12
12,000, 12 lakh engineers, right? Yeah. So why don't you like create a community of people who are serious about like which is a
A lot
more
of people are
mature audience?
trying that. A lot of people are trying that, you
I
know.
think movie films is trying that. Movie
A lot
films
of
is
people are
nailing that.
trying that. A lot of people have tried it in future, in the past, where we try to create communities where people pay to watch a certain indie film, and like a cinema buff community, and they hold events. I go to such events where
Yeah.
they paid movie screenings.
Yeah.
It's a very small community, very small community.
Yeah.
Uh, because India as a market is not very forward looking as far as cinema is concerned. Indian cinema is very backward, very, very backward. I mean, we still have a very song and dance escapist cinema. We're not a place for very good art driven serious cinema or adult cinema. We don't do that. Even now, even now, because audiences love, those escapist song and dance Salman Khan type stuff. So that cuts out uh, the thing for the prospect for any serious art filmmaker. That's a very big problem. And
True. True. But I won't take much of your time. Just one last question. That you spoke about Ashneer Grover like kicking Sikwars as.
yeah,
So like that also seemed very interesting. So, so two questions over here. Like, where do you get all of your information from? Like, what resources are you relying on for your information? Where you what you're reading and how you are you consuming that information? And the second is that like you also spoke about in the same post you spoke about housing.com CEO and how he got a second chance and royally screwed up. So can you just elaborate on that situation? Like we all know about the Ashley Grover fiasco, but what is going behind the scenes? Not many people know about that.
so I read a lot. Economic Times is a daily staple, and then everything that comes out in Tracker, and I read basically the same sources as everyone. It's just that I
Yeah.
actually read.
Yeah.
That's a and secondly, I'm not sure if you know about housing.com. Housing.com began it was the
I
first.
know of the company.
Yeah, so that Rahul Yadav was the founder of housing.com. This has been
It came
chronicled.
it came around the same time as Makan.com, housing.com, and all of this
Yeah, yeah.
99 acres.
Housing was, yes, yes, around the same time. It was one of the first companies to get funded by SoftBank also.
Okay.
So it's written in Golden Tap, a very good book Kashyap Devra has written. And so he basically, had a fight with Sequoia guys. Uh,
Okay.
very, very public and a dirty fight where he said he's gonna, this is the beginning of the end of Sequoia in India and so on. It was like all over the place. It was very popular story back in the day. And then he got exited. He got thrown out of the company, and then he was basically an outcast. And he had
Mhm.
several problems. Now he's not a good guy by any measure or any way. In any way, there's nothing good that you can say about Rahul Yadav.
Okay.
But he ended up taking a fight with these guys, Sequoia, and so he ended up writing this stuff I told you about. It's a public mail, by the way. Very, very
Okay.
public conversation. It's huge uproar in the startup industry. Everybody was talking about it back in 2015,
Okay.
16. So then he was an outcast, and he couldn't do anything for a long period of time. He started a company, it didn't go anywhere. And then just a few years ago, InfoEdge invested in his company. It was some real estate company. I don't remember the name, XB Networks or something, where InfoEdge put in like 270 crores or something. And
Okay.
he like laundered that money, and he took that money away, and he was an IIT Bombay guy. He bought cars with that money, and he just basically fleeced away with their money.
The entrepreneur dream. He was living the entrepreneur dream.
Yeah, yeah,
कि
he was.
फंडिंग उठाऊंगा, महंगी गाड़ी खरीदूंगा, महंगा घर खरीदूंगा.
No, no, he's that guy. He's literally a weird story, and he did that. And so this was all over the place. And so he got the second chance. Not many people thought that he'll get.
Yeah, such a big
Really
one.
fast, I'm telling you, because after that housing fiasco, he was basically away from the market for a very long time. Like Sachin
Yeah,
Bansal probably invested in one of his companies because he was from IIT and all, very good connections and so on and so forth. Then nothing happened. He was just away from the system. But somehow he got money from InfoEdge. It seemed like a second chance for the guy, but he again did a lot of bad things with that money, and that's what I wrote in that story because he
yeah.
got a second chance, but he couldn't take his fight with Sequoia guys couldn't really do anything. But
And how
Ashneer,
was, yeah, exactly. How was Ashneer able to do differently?
it's again very, very complicated story. You can only speculate because I'm not a friend of Ashneer Grover. Of course, I don't know him.
Yeah,
But as much as I've read, he also did some really wicked stuff. The invoicing and fake invoicing and all those money laundering and all that thing was out in the open where the companies he paid for recruitment consulting didn't exist, and crores and crores of money got funneled out and misappropriated and stuff. But Bharat Pay is in a very critical juncture at this moment, and probably they don't want to have dead weight hanging on their backs, right? So they just felt it necessary to take him out, and he emerged victorious in my eyes because the scale of what he had done, it could have easily handed his ass in court. It's just
yeah,
he could have been really screwed with, but he must have had some leverage as well because the company is going on from a very it's moving through a very interesting time, Bharat Pay, and they don't want. But he still got to hold some shares through his family trust, which was very interesting.
yeah, yeah. So he did not get completely kicked out.
No, he didn't. His family trust owns a lot of shares, and he's
Yeah,
like amazing stuff. That's why I wrote all that
yeah,
praise for him because I once wrote about him back in the day, and that post was like seriously, that post itself was like 2 million views.
right.
And it was weird how, and that was no good word. So I'm not a fan of Mr. Grover,
Yeah,
so to speak, at all, at
yeah,
all. But this is amazing, man. Somebody can fight them off, and
yeah. Credit where it's due, right?
credit where it's due,
Like,
man.
yeah,
Credit where
yeah.
it's due.
I completely agree with both of them.
Unstoppable force.
Yeah,
You cannot screw with these guys, यार.
yeah.
And he's like saying on TV, अगर मैं कुछ बोल दूंगा तो वो शैलेंद्र
बवाल हो
सिंह
जाए.
इंडिया में काम नहीं कर पाएगा ऐसे यार. Nice,
Right.
man. Good, good.
But like on a or like very smaller scale, I also learned about a founder who did some similar things and suffered the similar fate as Ashleigh Grover in a startup. I would not name, but I was so surprised to know that these things happen every day and every now and then, and we just get to hear the big ones. We don't even hear these things. Like overnight, he was thrown out of the company. He started another company and got funded also. So like he had such strong credentials. Like he did not like you could not look at his credentials and be like, oh, this guy can like mess you over. So I think like I'm just shocked to see the reality of life. Like you don't know what's going behind the curtains, and
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am fortunately, I know these things firsthand, a lot of these people,
yeah.
and so I know, but yeah, it's just
But what are you doing with the virtual voter? That's my last question to you. Like,
Virtual Voter is a social network focused on polls. It's
no, but
basically,
why?
but why?
Yeah,
What do you
why are you building? Like, what interested you about it? Like, what's so interesting about it that interested you?
Yeah, so in this, if you look at social networking history,
Hmm.
it it began in a horizontal way. Like Facebook, Orkut, MySpace, early forms of those platforms allowed you to share everything, photo,
Hmm.
video, audio, text, everything. Then came 2007. They removed
Hmm.
everything, just kept 140 characters. That was Twitter.
Yeah.
Then came 2012. They removed everything, just kept pictures. That was
Pictures.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Then came 2016. They removed everything, just kept short videos. That was Twitter. Oh, sorry, TikTok. So
Also
what
Snapchat in the mix.
Snapchat, it's not a story anymore. So
Yeah.
what we realized is that people built social networks via negativa. They excluded things, and the more focused you are in your offering, the
Hmm.
more valuable you become for your user.
Yeah.
So what we did was in 2024, we removed everything, just kept polls as the central mode of communication. Polls. Why polls? Because polls are heavy, extremely engaging. And
Yeah.
what's the quickest way
Very
to access?
quick also.
Very quick. What's the quickest way to access like an insight? It's a poll.
Yeah.
You don't want to read an article, don't want to watch a whole video. If you have a poll asking that question and then like 1,000 people voting on that poll, you know what's going on with the country, with the city, with the state, with people,
Yeah.
with community, and so on and so forth. So it became a way of getting insights like no other and
Yeah.
engaging people like no other. So we launched it just before Indian elections in July. Uh, and our exit poll with 24,000 people
How
was
did you get these 24,000 people?
Facebook ads and all of those
Okay.
advertising. Our insights, our exit poll was more accurate than any exit poll in the country. Like
Really?
all multi-crore Chanakya voter and everybody, they were predicting a landslide, right?
Yeah.
We saw on our app that it's not a landslide, it's basically hung.
Yeah.
Absolutely hung. I'm like, shit, if it's hung, then, that's what we put out, and then we came out to be true. So, uh, it's virtual voter is like the new age social networking where we see people making all sorts of polls and people engaging on those polls, and then it's going to lead to insights. And it's also no filter bubble, because in every social platform, what you want to see is what you see, right?
Yeah.
Because the algorithm adjusts itself according to you.
Yeah.
In a poll, that can't happen.
Yeah.
Poll is where all the ideologies collide, right?
Yeah.
So you break the filter bubble with the poll. That's
You're
what we,
also anonymous.
yeah, the vote is anonymous, yes.
Yeah. So you can be true to your beliefs and value systems.
Exactly. And
You
then
don't
see
have to
what the
pretend.
people are saying when they are true to
Exactly.
them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
I
so
think that's
that's what,
very smart.
yeah, so that's what we want to build.
Yeah.
That's something also we are raising money for. Let's see if we are successful at that.
Yeah. I really hope that it sounds interesting because I don't know if I'm correct. Again, I know a lot of things in a lot of places. I just don't know very accurate things, which is a problem I need to solve. But I think Pratham, who is the founder of Masters Union, also built something similar like this, which was a niche voting app. I could check on LinkedIn and get back to you.
Yeah.
But so I think that was also
This
around the
is
same.
what we've done is like first in the industry. There's no social network focused on polling in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, this like when you were explaining to me, it sounded like Quora, but it's much more simpler. Like Quora is like like wherever you give options and like user generated options, so you don't know which answer to trust. But now it's just a poll. The options are standardized, and the answers in front of you. So I think that's a quicker way of like getting insights. And I
Yeah,
think it
absolutely. The quickest way of getting insights.
exactly. And I think you could also transition into something like a trend setter or like trends news
Yeah,
also
yeah,
like Google
absolutely. So
Trends
map all the
or
trends. And
exactly.
that's the hope. We need money to actually promote this product, because we were very happy with the exit poll thing I told about, because hundreds of crores were spent on exit polls outside. We did it in like 4 lakh rupees, and we were more accurate than all of those polls, which
Yeah,
was amazing, amazing.
yeah.
But I don't know if,
That's a
investors will.
great journey. And you are just like building so many things. I think you should open up a venture studio and like put everything in one umbrella and just keep building new like things that you want.
I am the venture studio.
Yeah, you are the venture
I am
studio.
the umbrella.
Yeah, that is true. But thank you so much for your time, Nishant. I think I had a great chat with you and learned so much myself. And I truly believe that the people who would watch this episode end to end would learn a lot of things about a lot of topics. It's very deep, like insightful, like conversation that we had. And thank you so much for taking out the time and coming on today's podcast. I'm very grateful. Is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience?
No, I just hope, some of the clips, I hope we've said something so nice that some of the clips or whatever, reel or short, it goes viral and it helps you and it helps me.
Thank you.
somebody,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care about anybody else. I'll be happy
Yeah.
if it helps me and you. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the maximum
Thank
I
you so
can
much.
care about. I don't care. I can't care about like if it helps somebody with information, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody else. But yeah, if it goes somewhere and it helps
At
you,
least we're honest. So,
yeah, I'm honest.
yeah. Thank you so much. I'll just stop the recording now.